Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you everybody for sharing with me today your excellent experience. Now, I'm speaking from a very advantaged position. UNISA being a distance learning institution since its inception more than a century ago. It is now the second biggest open distance learning institution in the Southern Hemisphere. And we currently have more than 400,000 students, all of them doing distance learning. UNISA moved to online distance education in the 1990s, so the e-learning systems are in place, admitting that it is a big challenge to manage such a big system. When the pandemic came, it limited the administrative and ICT support because of lockdown regulations. Not all personnel have the tools and data to work remotely. Administration and support for the system from home proved to be vital for making the timelines in terms of examinations, in terms of submission of assignments, etc. So we got used to a much shorter decision-making cycle at the university to make decisions on how to solve immediate problems. Now, the 4 months I spent in online teaching during lockdown brought some changes to the ways that we were doing things. First of all, I had to sharpen a few of the tools that I've been using, and even had to purchase some tools to make my job easier. And then I must ask, can somebody please win the battle between Teams, Google Meets, and Zoom et al.? Because it complicates our world of teaching. The different people work on different platforms, although the university support net meetings very well. Different students and different groups of people work on different platforms. Second thing I experienced is that the motivation level of students during lockdown became a problem, especially when they were looking after the toddler and other social pressures working from home. The general appetite for online learning is not always there. So it's a motivational challenge for us as teachers and learners. Then in our environment, we have to deal with different bandwidth situations. We have students all over the world, so we need to deal with the ideal situation of a corporate webinar, but also with the refugee camps in Ethiopia and the master students sitting in a village in the Kalahari. We also need to make decisions on how important is immediacy. Is conferencing always necessary? We found no, that pre-recordings for asynchronous interaction becomes more and more an option where it's not necessary to do immediacy. We don't have to see each other. Continuous guidance on practical and ethical aspects of field research became a commitment, especially where masters and doctoral students are dealing with human subjects and community engagement in their research. We had to share our knowledge. How do you overcome the challenges of field research? And then a problem that was mentioned by many of you is the availability of ICT infrastructure. You know, if somebody steals the electricity cables, there is no online teaching and learning today. We'll have to wait and postpone. What I also found is that scheduled group conversations, WhatsApp groups, became very popular in South Africa. And then email availability is also very important. When it comes to assessments, written assignments at the due date that is convenient for everybody, that is processed on a suitable platform, is a solution to assignments. Now, when it comes to the gap in the supply of teaching materials, I want to do it from a student perspective. The students say that the readings that we supply are not enough. They need to talk to a lecturer to understand. Especially when the undergraduates, they need to see people, they need to see each other, they need to talk to each other. A student will also tell you, many students, that they took a salary cut because of COVID. Remember, most of our students are also working people. They cannot afford a laptop, Wi-Fi, or data. And some of them, many of them, are living in a shack within a community without continuous electricity. Now they will ask, you claim equality in education. Will I now be left behind while you focus on those who can afford distance learning? A very legitimate question. The student will also tell you, I understand your challenge at the university, but you should not make your institution's logistical and financial priorities my problem. You claim student-centered education, you find the solutions. Now, as we rightly say, this is not a negative situation. There are so many opportunities that now are emerging. First of all, there's a new collaborative paradigm that is strongly emerging in the higher education field. And it gives us the opportunity now together to design resilient systems and tools so we can master all the intellectual capital from all over the world in one platform. And here we must note the difference between remote emergency learning, as done by most of your residential universities, and existing distance learning institutions like UNISA. They have different challenges. Secondly, there is a move towards adaptive, personalized learning solutions that can continue even during pandemics and war, keeping in mind the quest for equal education. This is the time now to develop high quality, affordable, secure e-learning platforms that is easy to maintain. This is the time now that we can bridge the learning gap that exists in many of our societies to eradicate learning inequalities, especially when it comes to the youth and women, and involve them in innovation and knowledge production. Your online platforms lend themselves to a large extent to involve more people in teaching and learning. Then finally, we need to find a solution to guarantee access from any site with various instruments where we can link multiple sites of students and professionals with each other. I think this event is an example of that. We need to, from a research perspective, we need to strengthen the research pipeline with our community sites of knowledge. Those students and research partners in our townships and rural villages will hold the knowledge that we so much need to find social solutions. And then our institutions need to invest more in online administrative support and literacy, developing digital literacy competencies and e-learning guides instead of wasting money on other things. It's time to reprioritize now for our institutions. And we need to expand our global higher community education community of practice as we do now. We need to share our knowledge and learn from each other. And then I hope somebody is capturing all these lessons learned and publish on that from this experience in the pandemic, include it in the curricula. This will not be the last catastrophe.